So just to give a quick context on the role of digital technologies in transforming, manufacturing and mining segments, these segments are profoundly experiencing the transformation with, cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence, AI, ML, robotics, 3D printing, drones, so on and so forth, where they are enabling and driving shifts in growth of efficiency, sustainability, and safety across these segments. And there are, especially in mining segment, we see autonomous vehicles, the digital twins have found their feet, and there are multiple use cases in driving this adoption. To put a number to it, if we see manufacturing and mining segments contribute to close to 20% of India's GDP, which is very significant as a sector. And on the digital context, as India is heading towards the ambitious $5 trillion economy, there is $1 trillion economic opportunity, especially on the digital side of it, which further analyzed, easily $250 billion economic value can be added on the digital side of it in these segments. Over the next few minutes, we'll try and cover few aspects of few key areas on how these sectors are enabling or leveraging the technology in enhancing productivity and sustainability with as a core practice, and also focus on how the talent bit of it, and how the leaders see the emerging technologies are really helping the workforce at large. To start the conversation with, especially on the digital maturity, right? As there was one very interesting statement which I came across when one of the leader quoted, "Majority of the enterprises across segments in India are digitized but not transformed." So that's really a powerful statement to make. So to start our conversation, Dr. Indranil, I would like to ask you on the digital maturity side, how do you assess the organization's digital maturity, and what are the key metrics and frameworks?
Please bear with us for some more time. Digital maturity, so 10 years back, we'll just talk about examples where Mr. Raghu said that don't give any theory, so let us discuss what you've really done. So almost 8-9 years back, I was presenting to the group CIO of one of the largest conglomerates of India. He said, "You come for digital transformation, we've done SAP and all that stuff, and you're talking about ML and DL and all kinds of things. So I am a behemoth, but I'm still a caterpillar. Will you make me a butterfly, or will you make me a very fast caterpillar?" Very interesting stuff. Digital transformation actually starts on the top, in the middle, at the bottom. So it all depends what kind of people you have. Are they ingrained to the digital methodologies, the digital technologies? The culture of innovation is there in the organization or not? The changeover from analog system to digital, I think we have seen a lot of these things passing from floppies to CDs to now we have, even the SanDisks are gone. It's all solid state drives and stuff. So we've seen all of these transformation happening, and which have been a part of this whole digital transformation journey. But to me as a consultant, I think the most important part is how your people react to change. And are they ready to accept that change inside the organization? Are they driving innovations? Are they driving the automation which is required to create that right pathway, when that will get integrated to a much larger digital transformation progress and strategy roadmap that you've already built for yourself? So to me, digital maturity assessment, it's a big word, but I think we internally need to know as an organization that where we are placed at that moment, how much of our processes are automated, what kind of innovations are we thinking 1, 2, 5 years down the line, how much that is going to affect business operations, and how much of that will be led by people who you have hired, and what is your core team. So at PwC, I can talk about, we have multiple digital maturity assessment frameworks. We have the industry 4.0, now 5.0 framework, which is available, which can instantaneously tell you if you take that survey. It's a pretty long survey. Takes you around 20-25 minutes. And if you truthfully answer it, then you will get some quadrant where you are placed right now. And it will also give you some immediate use cases that you should turn into. I mean, I don't want to talk much about PwC frameworks, etc., but there are a lot of these frameworks which are available. You should pick one and customize for yourself which suits you. If you do not assess it in the beginning, assessment is ongoing, because if you assess now, by the time that 3-5 year journey has ended, the technology is completely changed and you're again either back or that technology is redundant. So I think it's a continuous assessment and a continuous process of integration within your organization. People, it will be led by people, it will be led by your digital innovation and the integration of both. That's what my take is. Thank you.
Absolutely agreed. Change is the only constant, right, which we see. And coming to the change management, it's not just for enterprises, it's again also applicable for the talent, right? So the next question to you, Dr. Debi Prasad, how do you see these industry academia collaborations are playing this, bridging this talent gap, considering the rapid evolution of, the evolving industries, especially in the digital side of it?
Yeah, good evening to all of you. So thanks, Raghu, for inviting me, and Sayan for inviting me. I also thank nasscom. So to give a perspective to your question, let me give you an example. If you see, the number of companies that are coming out of US universities, it's a huge. So if you limit the technology only within the academic laboratory, it's not going to be helpful. To be successful and to go beyond 5 trillion economy, I think what is important for Indian academia is to come out of the laboratory setup, ensure that the technologies which we are teaching in the classroom, they actually see the day of light. Now here comes the academia and industry relationship. How we can do it? There are ways. For example, IT Bhubaneswar recently started a course, a master's level course, which was required for a company. So they proposed us, you have the curriculum, but it is not matching with industry's need. So why don't you basically design a curriculum which matches a particular industry? I'm not talking about that particular, I'm not taking the name of the industry, because there are so many requests are coming. Why this is coming to India now? Because essentially academic institutes, we produce human resources. So if we are not, producing the human resources, they are directly fitting into an industry's need. There is no point in producing such human resources. That is where academic institutes now should actually mold their curriculum, and IITs, NITs and other private and as well as government institutes, they should now think about designing courses which are industry-friendly courses. Another example I will give you. Recently, because I'm the head of the Department of Computer Science, and we have a classical structure of the curriculum. Like the students will go for a couple of months internship after the end of their third year. But industries have started pushing up. We don't need interns for 2 months. We rather need interns for 6 months. The reason is that they need to train these engineers in a better way before they can be absorbed. Now, obviously, orthodox mindset, like old people and the old setups in IIT, they will say that no, we cannot release our students for 6 months to the industry, what they will be learning. Now, if you basically always think about from that perspective, it's not going to work. So what we have started designing now, let's say revise the curriculum. If the industry needs, let them go to the industry, learn the industry-related technologies also, and then again come back to the classroom for some time, and then basically they finish their work. This is what needed. So, and say one more scheme I'll tell you. Government has started giving programs like chips to start up. So what does it mean? You design a chip in the lab, but it has to go to a company, whether it's a big company or a startup, but that is very important. Unless it goes there, we will still be talking about we are creating great talents, but these talents will be going outside the country and basically it's not going to help us in getting the revenue back. That is where I feel this is a very big opportunity for all the academia as well as industry in India to ensure that the next level of JPL comes out of one of the IITs or NITs instead of it is there in one of the US universities. That is what is needed. And I believe the current academia is, even though orthodox, but they are trying to change their curriculum, accepting these sort of changes in the system. So that is what I can tell you, Raghu.
Very, very true. I think, as you rightly said, industry and academia has to go hand in hand to choose that relevance, to kind of, relook into what is being taught and then bridge the gap. Now, moving forward ahead, to deep dive into the applicability point of view. Sourabh, I would like to ask, being one of the, coming from an enterprise which is one of the leaders in the mining space, how do you see the technologies like predictive maintenance or remote monitoring, right, or enabling or helping productivity and to enhance productivity or safety point of view in this segment?
Thanks, Raghu. First of all, I'm privileged here sharing the dais with two doctors, Dr. Debi and Dr. Indranil. Thank you very much. I'm from the industry, and I think the idea bringing me here is to set up the real context here. First, let's talk about the safety and the digital context. When I was young, I will tell you a small story. I got selected in ISM Dhanbad those days. But my mother has not allowed me to join. Says minerals and mining is not safe, so don't go there. That's still there with me. Now I've completed 16 years with minerals and mining industry. And today I see a complete change in those dynamics. Today when we are talking about the safety, there are the AI cameras are available which can predict the scenario which will be happening. So you are not proactive, you are not reactive, but you can analyze and then you can track the behavior of the workers in the minerals and mining area, which can avoid a lot of safety incidents. So that's a one big change is happening in terms of the people aspects, which will encourage a lot of people joining minerals and mining industry in the same way manufacturing per se. Then we are talking about how remote monitoring is helping minerals and mining sectors. Take example of the big joints like Rio Tinto and many other mining companies, the way they have done their entire operations in terms of autonomous trucks, the way they are monitoring through high-end cameras, analyzing what is the quality of the ore, which is getting processed, which is in turn yielding that the overall productivity, which is very helping. Same way in terms of the conditional monitoring, the way IIoT has emerged in that space, and the way we are monitoring each and every equipment, we are not only reducing the downtime of the mining operations, which in turn increasing the overall productivity of the whole scenario. So things are changing in a big numbers, and I feel more safe, secure and sustainable, because the mining is the one area which consume a lot of energy. But by adopting the digital technology, we can not only reduce the power consumption, but can also reduce the dependence on the water on those areas. So
very, very true. I think as you rightly said, IoT and vision-based solutions have found its feet across these segments. Actually, in the same lines, nasscom runs several center of excellences in collaboration with central and state governments, mainly to drive digital adoption, working with startup ecosystem very closely. And we did see several use cases in that space where enterprises kind of adapting those, running those POCs to leverage these technologies in enhancing that. Now, one aspect is, of course, the technology adoption, but the greater aspect is again business continuity. With COVID, every business has learned a tough lesson, and business continuity has become at that point of time, post that, very, very critical aspect. Now, Dr. Indranil, I would like to hear from you. How do you see the emphasis on supply chain transparency and how these technologies like blockchain or IoT are, enabling this complete sourcing of raw materials, and how do you see, are there any hurdles to scale up these solutions?
This is a great question. So something similar got asked to me in a CIA conclave just a few days back. So I'll not give a metals and mineral example. I'll tell you one of the biggest success stories of convergence of technology in Africa. It is the anti-poaching activities of the bihorn rhino and the elephant. So with trackable collars for the elephant herds, with drone imagery, with satellite imagery, and now using blockchain to create immutable records of the places, because they follow a trend, they follow a pathway every year where they migrate from one country to another, again come back. So they are using all that, and they are also tracking those imagery using AI to understand if there are changes from earlier image that the satellite had given, and now is there some changes. I mean, there are multiple of those things that you can track. Similarly, in the metals and mining industry, so where are you sourcing it from? Which is that local area, land? So what kind of land are you giving back to the local people? What kind of records are you maintaining? And are you actually digging the permissible limit that you have been given? So all that can be now recorded. I think Sourabh was talking about some of those AI-led cameras, so that imagery can immediately be captured, and you don't need any human intervention anymore. The notifications will automatically be cleared. So I think this sustainable supply chain thing, not only for metals and mining, but for the whole ecosystem to evolve, these technologies are converging together. And I mean, blockchain, people said it's a pipe, it's not going to happen, but it's happening. I mean, there are a lot of state governments who are implementing it for the land records, for a lot of these traceability metrics, for the assets that the government has deployed in a particular geolocation. All those things are now getting aligned together. So I think that is where that transparency will be available to both the private organizations, and the government itself will know where its assets are there and how it is being tracked through the supply chain.
Sure. I think as we go forward, completely agree with you. One, also we see it's not just one technology or one solution fit for all. It's more an integrated approach. The IT-OT integration is critical for ensuring the complete transparency in the overall process.
So the last part was, I forgot to talk to, I think the biggest risk is interoperability. As long as we can scale, we have a common platform which evolves. I think there are a lot of entities who are working there. As long as that interoperability, as we call them APIs or whatever, but as long as they talk to each other and the data can be exchanged, I think that's when the problem gets solved. And obviously, privacy, data privacy, cyber security, because they all will reside in some cloud or other. Those things are very, very important. And as long as that gets taken care of, I think convergence is happening, will happen. But how much it has to be secure and not secure, that is to be seen yet. And government policies are evolving. NASScom has also brought out the responsible AI framework with some of us. So I think those things are already there.
Right. So we did talk on applicability in the enterprise, right? Now let's shift gear towards the talent again. And Dr. Debi Prosad, I would like to see your views on how you see the role of simulation technologies in enhancing the skills for the students, especially considering the real world challenges, and what are the kind of advancements you see in that space?
Yeah, so this is very important to understand that we can't send all the students to the industry to get to know about each and every equipment. So the easiest way is probably you create simulation platform in the lab. Now this is what is actually going on. If you see, one technology which has emerged a lot during maybe couple of, maybe 1.5 decades. Earlier when I was in Samsung research also. So we saw that AR/VR actually came a lot, and then it has started penetrating into various domains. Now that is playing big role, particularly training the manpower inside the campus environment without even sending them to the field. Now this is what can be a game changer. It's not only people see AR VR as if as a gaming platform. Rather, I will say that this is now being used for training the people, right? Instead of sending them. Let's see why it is important. You can't basically procure high-cost equipment within an academic environment due to several reasons. For example, you don't have those electronic microscopes which are available at low cost, in the campus. Similarly, like I was carefully listening to what Shankar was talking about, different kind of materials. Let's say battery materials. I have been closely working with a couple of industries. They need billions of atoms to be simulated, right? So basically, before we come up with a new combination, it can be gallium arsenide, it can be gallium nitride, whatever may be, or maybe some irregular structure in the molecular space. How do we do it? Simulation comes as a rescue, device there itself. And this is very important to understand that a lot of, theories can be actually taught through simulation itself. Like Government of India has also started developing virtual labs where instead of, say a particular lab is available within one institute, why don't we basically use that similar, that lab virtually through a platform, and this gets facilitated to other institutes also. That is where simulation, comes into play. So I believe unless we adopt the simulation and then train the manpower, it will be difficult for the manpower actually to directly go and handle complex equipment which are there in the industry. So I believe the academia has started to adopt this condition.
Very, very heartening to hear that. One, we spoke about digital maturity, we spoke about applicability in industry and academia, but we can't, as I initially said, sustainability is one of the core in building all the digital transformation agenda. So now, Sourabh, this is to you as an enterprise which is leading, sustainability as a core in the processes and the, supply. So how do you see the digital technology shifting towards more sustainable operations, and what kind of strategies do you recommend?
Perfect. Thanks. See, the sustainability is a big word overall, and majority of the time we talk about sustainability in terms of the planet, how we can save our planet overall. And we all know that the minerals and mining industry, and we all know that we all need the different metals. India is emerging to be developed nation in the coming year, and we are in that journey, and we need to build our infrastructure that requires a lot of metal overall. In the same way, other countries are also aspiring the same journey. The question comes is, what do we need to do about it? We work in 4 fundamental principles here. One is the move less rock, use less energy, use less water, and eliminate or try to reduce waste overall. And we know that we generate a lot of waste out of minerals that goes into tailings. But let's come to the first part, because in all the 4 aspects, when I'm talking, digital definitely will be in the core of it as to solve that problem. When I'm talking about the move less rock, I think the idea here is if you can use the precision camera by which you will be able to analyze what kind of a ore you want to process, then you will be able to decide at the processing, at the pit level, that whether you want to process or you don't want to process. So we have the different metrics which defines that, which includes your truck matrix, your conveyor matrix, and you can use those cameras to the precision and take a call. So which can eliminate a lot of waste in that. The second comes is the use less energy. Then we are talking about what kind of a new equipment or the new processes, or can we use the help of AI ML by which you will be able to reduce energy, because a lot of energy is getting wasted in the entire process. So can you do the condition monitoring properly? Can you analyze the performance of those equipments by which you will be able to reduce energy? In the same way, can you reduce the water, because that's another key aspect when we are talking about the minerals and the manufacturing environment, the amount of the water that they consume. And in the same way, how best we can eliminate waste overall in the entire process. So when I'm talking about the digital, I think it's about using all the things here, including additive manufacturing, because in the mining environment, which is very harsh, a lot of wear and tear is happening. Can we use additive and build those parts quickly, and you can avoid a lot of carbon footprint or save a lot of carbon footprint in that case. So those are the things that we need to use it as to help our planet overall.
Thank you. I think considering the paucity of time, I have one last question to all the leaders. If we have to sit 5 years down the line here and talk on the same aspect, in just a minute, what are the technologies you see on rapid adoption in the space where you are operating?
I think the things are changing at a very rapid pace. It's an open generic question, but I see the transformation happens when not only one, but all the technologies join hands together, and that's where the transformation kicks in. And I see that pace is coming, or that time is coming very fast when we see a lot of handshake is happening among technologies, and I'm sure it will be beneficial to manufacturing and the mining industries both. I see that transformation coming in, especially in the automotive very quickly, but the mining is not very far in terms of understanding and realizing that potential. So these are my words.
So what Sourabh said, I'll just extend his thought. So convergence, we started with that, and convergence will happen. So call it AI with blockchain, with cyber security, everything. So all these digital confluence will happen. So we are at a digital confluence today. So 5 years down the line, we may have a ChatGPT 10, call it whatever, but it will become commonplace. It's already there. So I mean, can you survive with your WhatsApp for next 1 hour? I mean, it's a global news if WhatsApp goes on an outage, right? So I think the convergence is going to happen, and it will be the backbone of the then digital transformation which will come. So will it be quantum then, or more and more of crypto, and more and more of cyber secure, and maybe more and more of surveillance? So I think convergence to me is the key word down the line.
Yeah, so I will extend it further. I mean to say that I'll be a little bit of, from academic point of view, I always try to put the safety card. So I'm also from the AI background. So the question, probably what I see in next 5 years down the line, there will be a lot of applications, like what Sourabh was talking about, computer vision, because that is my domain actually. Computer vision and IoT, is definitely going to come. So the monitoring, particularly safety in mining and and in transportation sector, as well as in defense sector, you will find that a lot of applications are coming. So my caution is that we will have to be a little bit of responsible while deploying such systems. So we can't assume that AI is going to take over everything. Okay. So there will be, and so in that way, what we are going to do, we are going to make a balance between whatever the natural intelligence is capable of doing it and why AI is capable of doing it. That fine line has to be drawn. And I expect that starting from the regulatory bodies as well as the implementing agencies like industries, there will be a nice balance, which I see with the help of AI and IoT technology. This is going to take it further, and I'm hopeful that this will not go out of our control.
Yeah, thank you. I think to conclude, we can say convergence of integrated technologies with responsibility,
right,
and security,
right,
absolutely, is the way forward for the growth of this segment. Absolutely. I think it's very insightful, power pack. Thank you, leaders. Thank you for your.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you.